On our parent panel today, we have Rachel Rennebeck, co-host of Ya Jagoff and Pittsburgh Her podcast, and Ryan Radzowski of the Grable Foundation, which, did I mess that up?
It was very close.
It was so close. There's so many
Close as
extra
anyone
syllables
gets.
in there. No, we're so happy to have you here because I know that you both saw the video in full, and I think it was a good message for me that sometimes we often want to just hug them and say, okay, we're going to figure this out, but then we don't help them problem solve.
Yeah.
We're providing that comfort and not really solutions.
And I think when they're young, right? Because you have young, I don't. And I think when they're young, you think the problem is so big until you watch the different milestones and the different scenarios and the journey that they go through, and you realize the bigger the kid, the bigger the problem. And you continue to want to take it away from them, but you can't. And so you have to set these boundaries, right?
Yeah, and I'm lucky that I have a 3- and a 1-year-old, so they haven't yet learned how to hide their emotions.
Right.
When my 3-year-old is struggling with something, he freezes up and his eyes start to well up and he shakes a little bit. My 1-year-old, she just screams. So when we know when they're struggling.
I still do that.
I was going to say, my 17-year-old does that too. Right? Yeah.
And as a parent, you know, it breaks your heart, and you want to jump in and be that source of comfort. And it's important to remember, and I'm still struggling with this myself, that fixing the thing, jumping in to fix the thing, is not the same as fixing the problem.
Right.
And often, if our kids get used to us jumping in, we're just making the problem worse.
That's right.
I'll speak for myself. I know when I was 15, I immediately went to the DMV to get my driver's license or driver's permit at that age. Like, I was ready to go, but I am seeing a lot of young people not have the confidence to do, like, they don't have their license and they're 20 years old. Are you finding this to be true?
Yes. It's so interesting that you bring that topic up, because I was the same way. And now it's kind of like, but what if, but what if, but what if? They're running through these scenarios in their mind of what could happen. And at home, I will say, and what if? What's the worst thing that can happen? That's sort of my approach, because if not, I'm going to go take that test for you. And so I will kind of say, worst case scenario this. You don't pass. What happens? You go back again. It's okay. So I think if we sort of provide for them in a safe space what the worst case scenario is, we're protecting them from that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And
Please tell me you agree.
I do.
We can try to make the problem familiar, at least a little bit, right? We can't anticipate everything they're going to experience. But I guess the 3-year-old equivalent of the driver's license is my son recently just got his first haircut. And we had heard horror stories from other parents about how this was going to go. And I understand, you're in a big chair and you have sharp things coming at your hair. And so we sat down and we watched the episode of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood where Fred gets a haircut. And we showed my son, they're going to put a smock on you, and here's how you're going to look different afterward, and here's how you might feel. And he got in that chair and he smiled through his whole haircut and he said, I'm just like Mr. Rogers. Now that's best case scenario. I don't want to give the impression that it's always that easy, but making things a little bit familiar can go a long way.
Well, I do think there are parenting wins. And we all have parenting fails too. That was a parenting win. So way to go. We applaud you.
I know. He kind of stole the show.
I know. But no, it's good. I think that there are moments where we can kind of applaud, like, okay, that was something I'm proud of as a parent, that we actually helped them. Because ultimately that's our goal, is to help our kids grow in the best way they can. But given the tools that we have, sometimes we don't know what to do. It can be so hard, you know?
Great point. And I think that's part of the problem is, for us, we want to have the answer.
Yeah.
And when we don't, and if we're providing them with a scenario and that doesn't work, we still feel that kind of, man, did we help? Question.
Yeah, we just don't want to see them fail. I think that's the biggest thing. You don't want to see them go through what you might have went through.
But failure, there's so much learning that happens in failure, so we have to let it happen. Yeah, we have to let it happen. Thank you both so much for coming on today. What a great topic.
All right, we're going to link you up to Rachel and Ryan on our website, and join us on the second Tuesday for every month for our parent panels.
Still to come on the show, KDKA's Barry Pintar standing by in the newsroom with the stories you don't want to miss tonight on the KDKA Evening News.